What's going on, guys? What's going on, guys? What's going on? Who's in here? Hit that like button. Hit that like button. I got one half of the famous Pott brothers. They're attorneys out of California who have created a script on. Hey, Stephanie, they created a script on 25 words to say when you get pulled over. These guys are amazing. The sky is the limit. I just did an interview with both of them, and Mark, one half of the Pott brothers, is coming back on. They have about 500,000 Instagram followers. I want to say 50 or 60,000 Facebook followers. I'm not sure how many YouTube they're lagging. So I said, look, come on in here. You guys definitely. Give me 1 second. I got him. There he is, guys. The famous Mark Wasserman, little brother, the big brother, one half of the Pott brothers, attorneys at law. They specialize in traffic. When you get pulled over, they are the go-to guys. They've created a 25-word phrase in which, or a mantra in which you need to say in order to keep yourself out of trouble. They tell you if you say this, you're pretty much they could take care of the rest. And they've gotten into marijuana law. Little brother Mark, how you doing, buddy?
I am fantastic. Thank you for having me again. Had a good time with you and my brother just a bit ago. It's great to be here.
Yeah. Guys, any questions you have? This is a legitimate. Tell them kind of what you do, Mark. What's your forte these days? What are you into?
All right, so I'm an attorney. Me and my brother are attorneys in California, and we specialize in criminal defense and all cannabis law. Cannabis law relates to criminal defense as well as businesses getting your permits, your licenses, compliance, regulations, and all aspects of it. We handle everything inside and out in the cannabis space in California, and we've been doing so. I've been practicing for 24 years. My brother's been practicing for about 33 years, and we merged together about 5 years ago to form the Pott Brothers at Law, and that's what we're specializing in now. You know what? I gotta grab this. It's my dad. You know, he's 86. I just
go ahead. Take it. I got it.
Hey, Dad, everything okay?
You could go off camera and talk to him for a second if you need.
No, it's okay. I'm actually live right now, Dad, on being interviewed on something called Disorderly Product News, live on YouTube. And I told them that, you know, my elderly father, who's still, when the batting cages reopened before the pandemic hit, he was out there once a week hitting 90 mile an hour fastballs, 86 years old. And he's using cannabis to fight his cancer. And was that what you were calling to tell me about? Did you have an episode? Are you okay?
And how you approach that one guy who wanted to blast potheads.
Okay, so let me, Dad, I will call you later. I understand exactly, and I can even share that here on the live because you're talking about a Facebook. I went live on Facebook as you saw, as our gracious host had seen before, and somebody was blasting potheads and was saying something, and I retorted, I responded, and my dad wants to talk to me about that, but I will talk to you later, okay, Dad? Love you.
Okay.
All right. Sorry, I'm back. Oh, wait. What did I do? Did I hit something? Because I can't hear you. I don't hear you now.
It was me. I apologize. The on and off button is right here. My fans would have told me.
I know. This quarantine and us doing our remote show, the podcast and everything, and doing interviews like this for the last 3 weeks, we've had so many tech. That's why when it happened, I'm like, what did I do? What did I do?
Yeah. Guys, hit that like button. If you see right there, Stephanie London, who's one of my moderators, she's a beast. God love you, Stephanie. She posted that's their channel right there. Go there and subscribe. I am telling you, it's everything that we talk about. They know it all. There's no more arguing back and forth about stop and identify states. Can they search the trunk if this is the situation? They are lawyers. They're legitimate lawyers. They passed the bar. There's 2 of them, and they're some of the best in the country. So no need to argue anymore. So if you guys have any questions for him, Mark he's an eccentric personality. He's made for YouTube. YouTube was created for somebody like Mark. He just needs to get out there. Just needs to be promoted. It's all you need. He already got 500,000 YouTube or what was it? Instagram followers.
Instagram's the mother lode for us. And I actually we have like 5 Instagram accounts. So, because we got shut down like 2 times from Instagram. And both times I wrote press releases and fought back with it was just stupid, the things I had to do over and over again on the little phone with appealing them taking us down for violating the terms and conditions. Like, the fuck are we violating? We're telling people their rights. You're trying to silence attorneys? Really? You know?
Yeah.
I mean, I did that overnight. Eventually, twice taken down, got it back. And then now, ultimately, I think within the last 3 months, we got verified, got that stupid blue check. And, you know.
Oh, well, that's big time.
You know, so that's what people say, you know, and it was like, to me, it was like, okay, good. We're not going to get fucked with and taken down again.
Yeah.
So good for that, you know. So, you know, we're with the YouTube, you know, as you can, I'm reminded when I see the link, when you look at the end of it, if you see the name at the end, you know, it has to do with back in my film days when I first started my YouTube channel, and I was posting up like what you watched, you were mentioning the commuter talk show, my films from my film career, my movies. That was my YouTube channel, was all about promoting that. And then when we started shifting into this, I didn't even think, I just started like, oh, I already have a YouTube channel. I'm just going to throw it all up there. And it wasn't until recently, thanks to Jonathan for cleaning up our YouTube channel and organizing it and making it monetize, because we weren't monetizing it for the longest time. You know? And because just didn't have time to sit and, you know, and then, so I like that, you know, when you reached out and getting us to more to the YouTube crowd, because we're really, once we found that we had this platform and we're, you know, people reach out to us from all over the country, and we just appreciate being able to get on platforms that to reach audiences we would not otherwise reach. You know, we've been on hip hop shows and the jazz shows and just everything, because this applies to everybody.
Yeah. Anybody who's seen Hot Boxing with Be Real from Cypress Hill, they were the special guests inside that car on 420. Him and his brother were in the car with Be Real, the same show that had Snoop Dogg, Fredo Santana, all the biggest rap stars and people in the music industry that smoke weed, the Mount Rushmore of weed. They were the ones they picked on 420 to be in that car with Be Real. They really are, and it's really just a couple of marketing things. It's really somebody opening the door for you. A guy by the name of San Joaquin Bailey Transparency opened the door for me, and he let me in and let me know the tricks of the trade, and you know, that's all it takes. But Mark, tell them the 25-word mantra that you've come up with. You studied and you realized that people are getting pulled over, and probably 9 out of 10 times, if they would just STFU, shut the fuck up, they would not be in jail today. Out of 100 prisoners, probably 90 of them would never be in jail if they just were quiet. So what did you come up with?
Yeah, that's you. Everything you say, I agree with, and you know, it leads to the statement that 80-90% of drug arrests start with a traffic stop, and you know, and cannabis, for crying out loud. So the 25 words, just to simply go through them first, because there's meaning behind everything we say and every phrase that we're talking about here, these 25 words, we condensed them down so that it's not so that you won't get arrested. I don't know if that's going to happen. I don't know if you're going to get your ass beat or shot or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
But everything I just said, it's all lumped together, and this applies to all of it. These 25 words: politely, calm, non-aggressive.
Yes.
Never reach. Keep your hands on the steering wheel. Make sure your license, insurance, and registration is like right here or right there every time you get in the car.
Yeah.
Anticipate. Maybe I might get pulled over. Today might be the day I get pulled over. I don't know.
Yeah.
Who knows? So you got it. You're ready like that, and you're non-aggressive, and you're saying these words politely and calmly. And I'll rattle them off. And it's why did you pull me over? I'm not discussing my day. Am I being detained or am I free to go? If detained, you say I invoke the fifth, and then you simply hashtag STFU.
STFU. Shut the fuck up. Don't say shut the up.
Shut the like I tell my kids, shut the freak up.
Shut the freak up.
I mean, you
Stop
can
talking.
all of our social media. It's we've made and the people like to use the F word.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, one of the things that help us go viral, but we're using it in a way that, I mean, this is, like I was saying, it's not meant for all those things to make sure they don't happen. What it's meant for is if you get arrested, if you get your ass beat, if the cops illegally searched you, if the cops violated your rights, if they did all that, and you've done what we said, we're going to have a much easier time fighting the case, and we're going to remove a major crutch away from the cops. And that crutch is, when you look back at the last, few years of all the shit that has happened with cops shooting, killing, people, and not getting prosecuted fully for it, whether they keep their job or they get, charges brought and then they get acquitted. Rarely do we see them get convicted because they're able to say all the same thing.
Yeah.
I was afraid for my life. I was afraid. That person reached over here or said this, whatever. They're able to say that because those people did something. And whatever they did not warrant the cops doing the shit that they do.
Yeah.
I can't control that.
Yeah.
I can control preserving your rights, remedies, and defenses after your altercation with the cop, whether it ends in a traffic ticket or worse, or hospital or whatever.
Yeah.
Because then you're talking a civil case where if you did what we say, and like we say, room for one ego at a traffic stop, let it be the cop, and you did it, and the cop beat you up for what? Because you said I'm not discussing my day, and that's and they did that. Well, you get fucked. And that's going to be a good lawsuit. And I'm sorry you went through that, but you've preserved your rights. And you take away the ability of the cop. And the system is looking for that fucking reason and ability to be able to say, well, no, I was afraid for my life. And they did this. And these three things that equal this made them feel like that. Take all that away.
Yes.
By simply remaining calm, manning up and calming down. Because a lot of guys, you heard my brother tell the story. He I fuck with my big brother. You know what I mean? And the cops were in his face, and it took a lot for him to man up and just take their lumps. They're gonna fucking bow breach in, they're gonna say what they want, and they're gonna degrade you and worse and whatever. And if you say to those 25 words, and then they arrest you, or like I said, worse, then your attorney is going to have an easier time proving and showing that they violated your rights. And now we're at the stage where you always film the police. And that's what effectuate change, I think, finally. I mean, we see all these horrible things, more and more of them.
Yes.
And it's just, we think it's that simple in terms of, look, it's just those 25 words. And if you can't remember anything else, just go mute.
Yeah, go mute.
Let me say this. The trick that officers use, and now they're trained, right? They're trained to get you to talk. And one of the big tricks is, yes, it is. That's my favorite actor, James Dean.
He donated $5. Thank you, Charlie Cruz.
Thanks, Charlie. One of the I forgot that was there, and sorry, I lost my train of thought from that.
No, sorry. No, I apologize. I had to give him credit because he donated. Go ahead. You were saying if you can't think of anything else, you're saying if you can't think of anything else, just be quiet.
Right. If you can't think of anything else, then just shut the freak up, and that's it. And I know what I was saying. What about their trickery and trying to get you to talk when they ask you a question and you say, "I'm not discussing my day," and they say, "Well, I'm just trying to do my job, and tell me if you just had a couple drinks, I don't care. Just tell me what you had to drink, or whatever they say, and you say, "I'm not discussing my day. Come on, just cooperate with me. I'm trying to stay, be sure the public is safe. Just cooperate with me."
Yeah.
And they equate cooperating with talking, which it is not.
Yes.
Cooperating doesn't mean talking at all.
Yes.
You cooperated. You saw the lights. You pulled over. That's cooperation.
Yes.
Then license, insurance, or registration. That's cooperation. Cool.
Yes.
Blah, blah, answer, blah. No, I'm not discussing my day. I'm being detained. Hey, you're being detained. Get out of the car. Oh, okay. I'm getting out of the car. That's cooperating. Put my hand behind my head. That's cooperating.
Yeah.
And you do all those things, and we tell you to do all those things. And, there's a video, it's probably been a couple years old now, but it seems to resurface every couple years where the cops are bashing out a window and yanking a guy out. And there's a couple of those, but there's one in particular that goes around. And for all of them, generally, that's typically what you see.
Yeah.
The tail end of it. And it's always wrong. The cop's always wrong in what they did.
Yeah.
And I don't condone any of it. But I can't stop them from doing that. I can maybe stop that situation by getting people to do this. Because if these drivers would have done what we said, I don't think it would have ended like that. Because in this one particular case I'm referring to, they gets pulled over, and right away the guy was, "Why'd you pull me over?" The cop was, "Give me your ID, and then I'll tell you." Well, you know what? The cop was wrong right there. At that moment, legally, hey, come on, why'd you pull me over? You got to tell me. Clock's going to start ticking. Give me the ticket. You got to tell me. And the cop didn't want, no, you give me that. So the argument started. And as we say, you're never going to win an argument with a cop at a traffic stop.
Yeah.
It ain't happening. They want to give you a red light ticket. They're going to give it to you. And you can say till you're blue in the face right there. You wait till you get to court 3 or 4 months later. Present your evidence.
Yes.
And that goes with any argument you want to make to the cop at that moment. Yeah. And so this driver, I know my rights. And you know what? And he was right. I don't fault that person. But what I want is from someone to hear me and then say, okay, well, good, but I know my right. And I'm willing to see if that cop wants to go that far.
Yeah. And it's working under the ideology is you could beat the case, you cannot beat the ride. There are no sidewalk judges. That is not the venue for it. It's not your job. I don't have to prove anything to you, officer. It's the guy in the black robe seated up there that I got to prove it to. Right.
Right.
And a lot of people don't know their law rights in this, and they're not supposed to. They didn't go to 8 years of law school. So if the cop is used to doing this 8 hours a day, 5 days a week for the past 20 years, he's played basketball 8 hours a day, 5 days a week for 20 years. You've stepped on the court maybe once, twice. Okay. I'm not going to play in this game. I'm sitting out. With all due respect, I'd like to remain silent. I don't want to talk about my day. I'm giving you everything I'm required to give you. If that's it. If there's something you need to do for me, right, go ahead. But I'm not answering any more questions. So that's kind of what you do. And then when you get to court, guess what? You get the Pott brothers. You get LeBron James and Michael Jordan. And the guy that's been playing basketball all day, he's only been playing in a rec league. So.
No, that's good. That's a good analogy. I mean, and you're not going to help yourself by saying anything at a traffic stop. I mean, It's not gonna. There's no, and you know what? There's people out there who have talked their way out of traffic stops, and that's great. And they got those cops that was okay for those cops. That's the problem. You never know which cop you're gonna get.
Yeah.
So what happens to people like that, and ultimately, like the guy I got, last year, the end of the year, got pulled over and got busted with 15 pounds in his truck, and he wasn't supposed to be there. And he was the nicest guy to the cops, and he allowed them to search his car, which that still goes beyond me. When why would you even? Why would what? I don't know the parts, but obviously we can't fight that. But he starts to tell me how, well, for the last 10 years, this is what I do all the time with cops. And I said, well, it finally didn't work for you, and now you're fucked. You know? So I mean, and it's all about, a lot of people go, well, if you don't do anything wrong, then what do you have to worry about? Or,
my God,
you shouldn't be smoking and driving. And believe me, we see those comments a lot. And my response to that is, that put your head in the sand, because people get pulled over for fucking nothing all the time. And when I say nothing, I mean profiling.
Yeah.
They get pulled over for that. But, your blink, you didn't use your blinker, or whatever the fuck they want to say, which is why it's especially if you're in the cannabis business, and you're transporting and delivering and things like that, you want to walk around that vehicle every time you get in it and make sure all your lights, and that's not a bad thing for everybody to do. Everybody, because you can minimize your risk of getting pulled over. I saw someone recommend locking their own keys in the car, which would force a warrant and or broken window. Thoughts? Okay, so that's a good question, and I have clients who that's what they do, and to me that's more of, you can't go in my car. I don't want you in my car. We say, you must say, I do not consent to a search. Toss your car keys in there and lock the door. That's more, I don't want you in there. And guess what? Some cops may very well break that window and get in there, and guess what? Whatever they getting thrown out of court, because that is not a legal search.
Fruit from a poisonous tree.
Correct.
And I just told you, the last video I put up, they handcuffed the guy cars at the back of the car, and the cop told them, unlock your car. And he goes, why? I didn't consent to the search. You don't have to. It's in plain view. Well, it's in plain view once you open the door. It's not really in plain view.
But what happened? So what happened with that?
Oh, it was charades. I mean, I'll have to show you the video, but there was nothing in there. The guys were from Indiana.
But let's address that. Okay. So if a cop, here's the beauty of shutting the fuck up, in my opinion. So a cop comes up to your car, and you have what appears to be a joint rolled. It's in plain view. The cop sees it and starts questioning you and going through this whole, I could see it, I could search it, can I go in? Because first of all, that cop right there, in my opinion, knows maybe he can't do that because he's trying to get consent. It's always easier if you just consent.
Yes.
They always say whatever they want. They lie. They can lie. Well, it's right there. It's in plain view. I can see it. So you might as well consent. So you never consent. And here's the beauty. Okay. So let's say he doesn't consent, and the cop, well, I see that, I'm going in. And then he goes in, and then he does his search, and then he finds, 12 racks or whatever, and then you get charged. And depending on what state you're in, it could be felonies, it could be misdemeanors, whatever. Now, the only way you're getting out of that is if that evidence is thrown out because it was an illegal search.
Yeah.
Maybe it was legal, maybe it wasn't. I don't know until I get the report and everything else. But one argument I can make without seeing any kind of report is,
I know. Go ahead. I know what you're going to say about this, but because I've already heard you say it. But go ahead. Keep going. I didn't mean to throw you off.
No, it's okay. What was that joint? Did you test it? Did you test that joint? Was it hemp CBD? Oh, you didn't test it? Oh, where is it? You mean you have the other 15 pounds, but you don't have the joint that you don't? Where's that? because we need to test that. And if that was hemp, then that was a legal product that was sitting there. Therefore, not illegal conduct for you to search. You had enough. It's like seeing a cigarette.
Yeah.
And it could have been tobacco for all that matter. People roll their own tobacco.
Yeah. So that came first. So if you were wrong about that, you never had the right to get that. That's fruit from a poisonous tree, isn't that the same?
Correct.
Now explain this to Triple Stacks here, because we went through this before, Mark, and he's saying weed's legal.
No, it's not.
It's not legal.
Cannabis is not legal, and you will find one thing that I don't think we got to it last time, is that I use the word cannabis, unlike my brother, who's got a trash mouth. And he created the F word that's part of all this anyway. But and one of the things he did say was, breaking the stigma. We're trying to break the stigma. And when we created Pott Brothers at Law, the name itself, that was something that goes, we've been doing on social media 5 years now. And prior to that, you go back 10 years before that. We were in the same building, separate offices in the same suite and our own offices, and we would go out in the parking lot and smoke. And I was doing more cannabis cases and defense criminal cases. And I said, we both smoke pot. We're brothers. We're attorneys. It's like Pott Brothers at Law. It's like a good joke. I'm going to make cards, put the American flag on it, and give it to my clients.
Yeah.
And that's how that name started. And he created that when we were there at Be Real TV Studios that day in 2015. And we always had our belief. We've always used cannabis. I was always very open about it. I didn't give a flying rat's ass. My brother was more, when it first happened and stuff also coming out. But as we grew and saw that, hey, we can show people that being a stoner is someone who's successful. And that's the only word that has a negative connotation that I think deserves to be and should be turned around.
The recreational?
No, the term stoner.
Okay.
The term stoner, that has a negative connotation because what do you think of a lazy stoner and the Spicoli's and the how high and all that stuff. And so, and then those there's comedies and good, all fun and great, cheech chong, everything, but breaking that general stigma, the reefer madness that still is here in our society. People who just think, oh my God, you're smoking. What are you doing? And breaking that stigma. Sorry, I'm going back and forth. Breaking that stigma. Once we got on social media saying that, look, the word marijuana was used first by Harry Anslinger in 1930, I think, when he took over as the head of the first Federal Bureau of Narcotics. Yeah. And I don't even want to get started on Anslinger. And he created the propaganda around it using the word marijuana to make it sound more ethnic. And all the ethnic people were coming in with their music and, all this and that. And it was all tied to marijuana. And then they ultimately, outlawed it. And so dope, weed, and words like that they carry the negative connotation with it that that's easy to change. Cannabis. Just use the word cannabis for everything.
Why? So he's saying Triple Stacks came back, he said weed's legal, and we said no. And now he came back and he said in California. Well, what you don't know is that's where the Pott Brothers are at. They're in California.
Okay. Triple Stacks. I got off on a tangent there. So
no, go ahead.
Cannabis is not legal anywhere in the United States of America. Okay, it's federally illegal everywhere, right? Federally, okay, which means airplanes and all federal shit. And then you have states that have their different laws that allow certain things, like California allows an adult who's 21 and over to possess up to 1 ounce. More than an ounce, you're looking at a misdemeanor. And if you're buying and selling more than an ounce with somebody else, then you're looking at not only a misdemeanor, but a conspiracy to commit the misdemeanor, which is a felony. So there's a misnomer across the nation that it's legal in places when people go like to California. You come here, you travel. Oh, I went to this shop and that shop. I threw it in my bag. And then you're calling me because they arrested you at the airport because it's a fucking felony to fly with it. Yeah. And you don't know that because you think it's legal because you see that. So anywhere you go, I mean, right now, of course, traveling, whatever, but when things open up and you go out there and you're a cannabis user, you need to be responsible and know the laws in the different places you're going. Because there's laws about, smoking it and buying it and carrying it. And then they're different in every state. And some states you could have, like I said, up to an ounce. In some states you could have one joint. It's a felony. And you're going to jail for 2 years. What the fuck?
Yeah.
And so websites like NORML.org, the National Organization Reform of Marijuana Laws, they're just celebrating 50 years in existence. Their website is the best platform. You want to know your marijuana laws for your state, that's the one that has a drop-down menu for all of it. So it's a great source.
Steph, what was it again? Normal?
NORML.org. Normal.
Stephanie's my head moderator. She's the best. Honest to God, she is the best. So like when you say something, she'll put it right there on the board. But guys, go to Pott Brothers on YouTube and subscribe. I am telling you, they are a lot.
Brothers at Law.
Pott Brothers at Law. Yeah, but if you just put in Pott Brothers, you'll see it. But Pott Brothers at Law, they have kind of like a green and yellow symbol with a pot leaf. And hit that button, and you guys, they are lock, stock, and barrel in stride with us in our movement and what we think. And not only that, they are a formidable adversary in the sense that they have the accreditations. They passed the bar. They are lawyers who think like us and act like us. And they're constantly telling you ways on how to get out of situations. Because when a cop asks you, is there a reason you didn't use your turn signal? Well, why do all of them state it like that? Because what?
It's none of their business.
Yes, but inside the question itself, they've already conceded you've committed the crime.
Right.
So the minute you say yes, but how about this? What if you say, I thought I did? Well, guess what? You thought you did. The police officer is going to say, I know you didn't. So if it's 10 seconds past the infraction and you thought 10 seconds and he knew 10 seconds, then definitely 3 months later, you only thought, I knew, you're guilty. Don't say anything.
Right. I'm not discussing my day. That's it. It's all you're allowed to say.
Yeah. And I talked to him about taking that 25 words and put it on a sticker and putting it somewhere so people could put it in their car, because it definitely will keep a lot of people out of jail. So if you say this, Mark, if 100 people got pulled over and there's 100 people in jail, let's just say, out of those 100 people, how many of them are there because of something they said after contact with the police?
Probably 90%.
90%. So probably only 10%. The police had probable cause. The police had everything they needed, probable cause to arrest that person. The other 90% was given to them by the person they arrested.
More likely than not, yes. That's my belief. Yeah, and doing it as long as they have, yeah.
And I think you're right, because they're not your friends. And I had one with Chuck Bronson. Chuck Bronson's a channel in Indiana, and we sat there and we watched these two young African American kids, couple, a guy driving and a girl. And they got pulled over by just a regular truck, a Dodge truck. No, I guess you could do that in Indiana. No municipal plates, no markings anywhere, nothing. It's just all of a sudden red and blue lights came on, and they were laughing with the cops. And me and Chuck are sitting there being like, stop laughing. They're not your friends. And one by one, it was, okay, get out of the car. And then, can we search the car? And then we found weed. And then da-da-da-da-da, and kept on going. And then the cops that were laughing with them started leaving one by one. And then all the cops were gone and their car was gone. They were sitting there on the side of the road with a summons, and all their buddies that they were laughing with are gone. You're not their friends. They didn't pull you over in the middle of the night to have a conversation with you. You trying to be friendly with them is what they want. You're not going to outfriend them.
Yeah.
They're not going to take pity on you. If that's your legal strategy, they'll take pity on me. They'll like me. They'll think I'm a personable person. If that's your legal strategy, you're in deep trouble.
Right. Well, and here's something else too. It's with regards to just traffic stop and traffic tickets and traffic violations. Doing this also is going to increase the chance that the cop is not going to remember you or care about you and may not show up. Versus the guy who argued with him at that traffic stop about whatever. The light was yellow or whatever. Oh, I'm fucking taking my notes and I'm remembering this motherfucker and I'm going to show up because a lot of cops don't show up to traffic tickets and they get dismissed.
Yeah.
So so you increase your chances of that happening if you're just faceless. You're there for the moment. You got pulled, and this is we're talking about all this stuff with cops and everything, and I got to say they have a hard job. And they don't know if they come up to a traffic stop, if they're just going to get shot.
Yes.
And they're doing their job. And like everything else, there's bad ones, right? Yes. But there's the cops out there who are trafficking, policing, making sure the roads are safe for us, and pulling people over and giving tickets. And if something is staring them in the face because somebody did something or they're a ding-dong because something's in plain view or whatever it is, then okay, start investigating, but still shut the fuck up and all that. But that's more for the cops who are just looking. They're just looking to fucking do something. Like the post we did today on Instagram, this cop, it's gone viral, I think in the last 2 days, I think in Utah. And somebody pulled over was asking the cop, why were you speeding? And this cop just fucking railed on him. And it was another good example of shut the fuck up because you don't know which cop you're going to get.
Yeah.
If you say the wrong thing to the wrong cop, bah! And that's what happened with this guy to the point where the fucking guy who got pulled over is talking and the cop screams at him, shut the fuck up. And we posted it on our Instagram today, just a little while ago. I saw it. And it's like,
What's your Instagram?
POT_brothers_@_law. Pott Brothers at Law with underscores all across because of my fucking brother. POT_brothers. I'm sorry. POT_brothers_@_law.
Okay, I'll put all that in the description so you guys can write it. You guys got any other questions here from Mark? Because I'm telling you guys, you'll watch him. I think he does it in the morning. He does it in front. You might say, is that the gym at your house? That bag?
Yeah, that's so. So here's a few things that I've started doing since the whole stay-at-home orders and all that shit that everyone's dealing with.
Yeah.
I work out every morning, 30 minutes. I do a Beachbody program right now called P90. I did Insanity Max 30 before, and I go live usually between 6:30 and 7:30. I go live on Facebook and Instagram Live and YouTube Live. I just started adding that in there, so I got 3 of them going. And I'm working out, I'm waking, I'm baking, I'm smoking. I smoke in and before and sometimes during my workout because it helps me. And then I do that for 30 minutes or so, and then I go and I take a big dab, answer some questions, and then I go about my day. My office is now, I'm in my bedroom, which my wife doesn't like that I've taken over the office, but the bedroom with my office. But I go downstairs to the garage. I can't smoke in here except I'm not even supposed to vape. So she'll see this eventually, and I'll get in trouble.
Yeah.
But I go downstairs in my garage, and I started to go live more on all these platforms just because it's like, hey, I see an audience more. And it's interesting because, and I don't know how this shit works, but Instagram, we have 457,000 followers. When I go live on a good day, maybe I get 100, maybe 100 people. Usually 60, 80, 100 people who are at any one time. It might be like 1,000 people pass through and stay. On Facebook, we have about 89,000 followers, and that fills up 200, 300, 400, 500 people like that.
Yeah.
And when I went live and started doing this, and I just started doing it, and answering questions, and I do methodically. I scroll up I try to get to every question. I see something, I stop, I talk, I might go on a tangent, and then I scroll back up. I get to as many as I can, and that's what I've been doing. And right now I don't have any set time. I just pop on and do it, and just kind of see where it goes. And it's people if I keep getting the engagement, I like giving the knowledge, and it's important.
You guys, he's not the stuffy. When you think a lawyer, you think stuffy and just kind of haughty-taughty and nose up in the air. He is lockstep with us. I mean, he's doing bong rips while he's hitting the heavy bag, and then he's telling you a story. He is so engaging, and he really is a breath of fresh air. He's somebody on our side who's saying, listen, we are hardworking Americans. We work hard for our money. To get a $220 seatbelt ticket is ridiculous when the cop himself doesn't have his seatbelt on.
You just struck a nerve with me in terms of infraction tickets, right? And infraction, because who's going to go hire an attorney for, I mean, there's ticket clinics and Mr. Ticket and all those kind of traffic attorneys and stuff in places like that. But we got a case. We're getting more of them. Open container, right? Open container for like a roach in the car, or somebody got something, they opened it. It's just like a bottle of vodka or whatever alcohol you have. If that container seal is cracked, it's an open container violation and an infraction. And for cannabis in California, that infraction then equals a point on your DMV record, right? So we had a case recently, an Uber driver, a nice lady Uber driver, who one of the things she did was give homeless people rides for free. And so she was doing this, and she dropped somebody off, and she was Latina, and she got pulled over, right? She came out of this strip mall where there was a laundromat where she dropped the homeless guy off. And she told me when he got in the car, he stunk of stink and cannabis and beer and out, and just he stunk. And when he left, the car still stunk, right? Yeah. And then she leaves. She gets pulled over for nothing more than profiling. I can only imagine, because when the cop pulled her over and she said, "Why did you pull me over?" He said, "Because I smelled pot." It still doesn't, I can't, in my head, I'm like, what the fuck is this? And so now we got a person who knows her rights and follows us actually, and knows the script and stuck with it, didn't say shit. Ultimately, the cop did their search because of the smell.
But that's what they were saying. Their PC was for the stop was the smell.
Right, which is ridiculous.
Obviously.
That whatever. And by the time, in this case, so this is ongoing still because of the pandemic. It's been kicked out. So I still am going on this case once this is all over. And the cop searched. Well, actually, what was great about this, my client took video, had her camera on the whole time, and she was a woman. It was a male cop, and she asked for a supervisor because she felt uncomfortable, which is your right. And you can do that. And and you will wait. They waited a long fucking time. And I think they do that on, he's on another call or whatever. But I think, and sometimes I know that happens. Like, well, fuck it, I just want to go. And they, and then now you give up. But she waited. That fucking guy came, the sergeant, supervisor, whoever he was. And this burns in me when I watch the video of him coming up, getting there, and coming up to her and saying, "So what's going on? Why are we here?" Did you fucking go talk to the cop who pulled her over for smell? Or, I mean, if you wish you could say anything in moments like that, it's like.
And this wasn't voluntary. I didn't.
And he goes, I'm not discussing my day. And I have a doctor's appointment. He wouldn't even let me call my doctor. I'm late for my doctor's appointment. I mean, she said a few other things like that, but hey, she was late for her doctor's appointment. And then the guy the sergeant let her call the doctor. I'm late, being pulled over. And then, well, we'll let you go, but we got to check the car first.
Oh, yeah. We're going to barter. We'll let you go, but you got to check your car first. We're going to make a deal.
I don't give consent. He goes, well, it smells. We're going to search. And she did what we say. I do not consent to searches. step aside. Don't get in their way. Let them do their job. It's all they're doing.
Yeah.
Their job.
Yeah.
They're doing their job.
Yeah.
So they search and they find a goddamn roach in the back seat that the homeless guy dropped and left there.
Yeah.
And now she gets a ticket, infraction for open container. As an Uber driver, a point against your record, that ain't gonna fly too well as a driver. And so she reached out to us, because she knew who we were and stuff. She reached out to us, and she was very forthright and upfront that she doesn't, she can't afford an attorney. I said, look, it's a traffic ticket, more or less. It's a traffic ticket. Typically, you're not going to go get an attorney for a traffic ticket, but you're going to need to file an intricate motion to argue this search was illegal.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, and we're in Southern California in Orange County, and the county that she was in was about a 2.5 hour drive away from me. And I said, we'll take care of it because this is bullshit.
Yeah.
And more so when I saw that she had video and I watched the video and I'm drooling because when I have video like that, okay, let's go, man. Let's go to court.
But let me ask you this, Mark. What is the premise that the search is illegal? Do cops have the right to ask you for your card, or because it's recreational, there could be a smell there because it's
so in
legal?
California. So in California now, smell is not probable cause.
Okay.
In California, some other states too. I think Colorado. Most states where it's adult use. And we'll talk about adult use versus recreational in the words later. But in most states where it's adult use, probable smell isn't probable cause because it could potentially be just legal conduct. I wear this replica around my neck every day, and when I go to court everywhere, it's not real. But if it were, and it was really dank good shit, it'd smell up the whole block.
Yeah.
It'd really smell up the car. You know, and that's legal conduct. Probable cause and smell in the past was there because smells like cannabis. Oh, it's illegal. It's just illegal everywhere.
Yes.
And so now, here's the other point about not consenting to searches and shutting the freak up is making that argument. Whatever state you're in. Now, if you're in a state where there's no medicinal and no adult use, then smells probable cause. It's
period.
Because
it's going to be there.
But you have a lot of states that are medicinal, right? And not adult use. So what's the rub? And that's where here in California, when it was like that, I always got very upset at my clients who talked because you just took away my argument that the smell that you had was legal because you're a medical patient. You're allowed to have it. You're allowed to have this much. So what that cop smelled was legal conduct. But I can't make that argument now because you said something. So that's a trick. You asking for your medical card. So now this again is what cop are you going to get and wait to make your argument with the judge. Okay? Because you present the medical card, you're admitting and showing I have this. So I can have my cannabis.
Yeah.
Right. And you're going down the road of an admission of something that is none of their fucking business.
You're right. You're right.
Know what I put in my body, cop. Why do you get to know that today?
Yeah.
You don't get to know that.
You don't.
So remembering that is it's your right, and circling back to those people who feel like, hey, I didn't do anything wrong. It's not about that. It's about we live in a country that we're supposed to be free from unreasonable governmental intrusion. And that means the cops coming into my life, asking me anything. And I got to bring this up because we say adamantly, go 3 months back and before, none of their fucking business. Where you're going, what you're doing, what's that smell, how many drinks you had, what's your mother's name.
Yeah.
None of their business.
Yes.
Now we got stay-at-home orders. So maybe it is their business. Why are you out? Now, the way I see it, you have a choice here. And we've created the script with a twist. So those 25 words get extended a little bit. If a cop says, there's stay-at-home orders, why are you out? Well, your officer, I'm out for an essential reason.
Yeah. Yeah. That's it.
Whatever it is. And you don't even have to say what it is. Just, I'm out for an essential reason.
Yeah. Keep it general.
Or you can continue to shut the fuck. It's still none of their business. I'm going to get my medicine. I'm going to get food. Like, fuck, I have to tell you.
Yeah.
Stay-at-home order. But to avoid hassle, just went to the store. Here's my receipt, or I'm going over there. Maybe that avoids the hassle. Or, hey, my rights, you don't get to know. You shut the fuck up. And just like that red light ticket you might get, you get the ticket for being out. 3 months later, you go to court. You bring in your receipt or whatever proof you had that you were out for your essential business. And
you're good.
Dismissed.
Yeah.
Again, no arguing. No arguing.
Yeah. And there's one thing I always say because the common thing that police officers always say, if you don't have anything in your car, what are you worried about? Why won't you let us search? No, this is the real question. If I don't have anything in my car, why would I let you search? If it's up to me, why would I let a stranger go through my stuff? I don't want my wife. I don't want my mom. I don't want my sister. I don't want my twin brother going through my personal stuff. What would make you think I would want a complete stranger going through my personal stuff? It's my choice. And guess what? Surprise, surprise. I don't like personal strangers going through my stuff. Well, it's not why wouldn't I? Why would I?
Absolutely.
You know? It's ludicrous. And I just wish, and that's a lot. Like I told you, I'm going on the tour. I am Essential 2 tour, Baltimore, Washington, D.C., New Jersey. And I'm going to go out there and I try and tell people I'm not a lawyer like you, but I understand law to a degree. And I don't ever try and get out of my body. In Illinois, in Chicago, we have the Inglewood Torture Center. They had to put up because Commander John Burge tortured over 200 minorities. And I went there and I showed them how to use their phone in a responsible way. I said, listen, I tell them, don't use it like I use it. Don't try and create content for YouTube. I don't do that. Use it as a way. Listen, why are you recording? I'm doing it for my safety and your liability, or my safety and your safety. Whatever.
Tell them. You don't even have to tell them. They're civil servants out doing a public thing. Yeah. And that's why we say always film the police and put your video, your camera right mounted. So it, don't worry about so you can touch it to play videos or games or music. Tilt it so it's facing the window over your shoulder in case you get pulled over. I mean, unfortunately, we live in a day and age, especially certain class and races and minorities of people who are getting pulled over more, that we have to get in our car, like I said earlier, walk around, make sure there's nothing there to pull you over. Number one, reduce the risk of getting pulled over by minimizing your lights are out or your registration or whatever those little things are. And then conducting yourself in such a way that if I do get pulled over, I got my license, insurance, and registration right here. I'm ready. I'm going to be calm. And if shit goes sideways, that fucker ain't going to get away with it.
Yeah. Well, when talking to those people in specific, I was thinking more it was going to be an interaction on foot or in front of their house, or I wasn't thinking about them driving. It's a very
we can talk about that. No, that's the same thing, though. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Now, instead of, I guess I'm not talking about somebody who's like running away from the police. You just STFU it. If you're doing that, you don't even say nothing else. Just they're going to catch you and keep your mouth shut. There's no, I invoke the fifth and then just shut up. But if you're doing whatever you're doing and you're approached, why are you stopping me? Instead of why did you pull me over? Why are you stopping me? And then the rest is the same. It's all the same. You got and then there's that whole thing. They're supposed to, if they want your ID, well, what are you alleging I'm doing? Because they can't just ask you for your ID for no reason. Yeah. They got to allege that you committed a crime. Now, that's a point in time where we stop and think, okay, which cop is this? Is this, even though this guy doesn't have no right to my ID, may I just give it to him? What's here? Here's my license. Look at it. Whatever you want it to see. Whatever. Now, if I'm somebody who, maybe I have a warrant from fucking 3 years ago that never got cleared up. I don't know. And shit, maybe I don't want to. You know what I mean? So, it's a fine line, and you gotta figure it out at that moment. Because some cops will just take that and like, well, you better do what I say. I'm taking you down to the ground because you didn't give me your ID.
And you know what, Mark? It maybe this surprises you, maybe it won't. But the capacity of some of these officers, a lot of these officers, to understand law, to understand RAS, to understand Terry versus Ohio, to understand what you need to identify somebody in the United States is so off. I've heard so many say we got a call, so we have to investigate. That's probably the case. That's good policing. I have no obligation to be part of your investigation. So you better pick out your magnifying glass, your little pencil, and your note paper and start asking people around here because I'm leaving. Right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And what we're seeing is, and we've been getting it from across the country, and we get it from across the world, and we can't speak to other countries' laws, but we've been told from other attorneys in other countries that in some place like Canada, they don't have a Fifth Amendment, but shutting the freak up works just the same there. And the rest of it, I'm not discussing my day and everything else. So it works all over the United States. We get that question. Is this for legal states of cannabis, it's for every state in the United States. It's your constitutional rights which follow you everywhere you go.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was this guy I was actually talking about, Nightcrawler Media, who was the one. They grabbed him, and their whole premise for needing his ID and getting his ID, and they had already cuffed him up because once you grab him, it's either a battery or a detainment. Why are you touching me? It's one or the other. You're either battering me or you're detaining me. And I'm going to guess you're going to say you're detaining me. So here we are. You've touched me. Now you detain me. But what is your reasonable, articulable suspicion? Not innuendo, not thought, not bias. What's the facts you have to back up to believe I am in commission of, about to commit, or just committed a crime? What is it? But they don't know that. That's like trying to tell a third grader algebra. When I watched that with Nightcrawler Media, I went in the next day to talk to the administration of District 12, and I said, is it that they don't know what Terry versus Ohio is, if they don't know what set precedent for the Fourth Amendment to the Constitution, or they just don't care? Which one is it? And I think they've been learned and they've practiced with such impunity that it doesn't matter.
So what happened? What happened in this instance with Nightcrawler Media? I'm not familiar.
So a white shirt comes to the scene, right? And the white shirt's smart enough to know that we've got him detained. We better come up with something. Something better makes sense here, right? Because, and what they didn't know is his phone was on the ground because they threw it on the ground, but it was still live. So everybody's hearing everything. And Nightcrawler's yelling to the phone, but they're not understanding Nightcrawler's yelling to the phone. So this is when a police officer got shot in New York. And the sergeant goes, police officers are getting shot in New York. It's an epidemic. And he goes, the I can't say it, the bird flu, that's an epidemic, which proved to be right. But even after going to his car, Sergeant Lully arrested him for possessing a scanner that simply had the ability to transmit, which is not a law in Illinois. So they arrested him, and they took him down to the station, and after 4 hours, they let him go with no charges. Even though he looked it up, he still arrested him. There's no such thing in Illinois. You can have a scanner all you want. You just can't use it in commission of a crime. And you cannot talk into it. It doesn't matter that it has the ability. You just can't use it.
Right.
They really screwed him over. And it was because the white shirt had to somehow clean up the fact that these two officers had him in a detainment for really no good reason.
Right.
Other than he was on the sidewalk taking pictures.
Right.
Which is illegal, unfortunately.
Right.
For them.
You just don't know which cop you're dealing with when you're in that moment. I mean,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
it's just it's unfortunate, but like we say, the mission of the script has been to create a way for citizens to engage with law enforcement during incidents and altercations in such a way as to maintain some kind of peace while maintaining your constitutional civil rights defenses and remedies in case you have to go to court later in any fashion.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think you know this, Mark. We can all sit here and say this, and when we're in a calm, relaxed state, but at night, pulled over, alone on the road, when there's two of them and one of you, things get hazy and things get fuzzy, and you know what I'm saying? Like it's not as easy as you think. Because I got people in my comment section all the time. Because this is what I do. I go out and I talk and I put myself in these positions, and they're always, "You should have done this," and you. Well, that's really easy for you. I was surrounded by 15 cops, on the west side of Chicago.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That has one of the highest murder rates in the nation. So, yeah, it's really easy for you to say, I'm taking on 15 cops at once. I did a pretty good job, I thought, but I didn't.
Well, and I appreciate that. And through all of that, nothing in terms of what we're teaching changes because shit's going to go down the way it's going to go down, whatever. You might as well protect your rights.
Yes.
Anyway. And by doing what we're saying, because, that's all you can do to give you some kind of chance later.
Yes. And that's a key, Mark. It's going to go down the way it's going to go down. Don't let them say, is there a reason you didn't use your turn signal? As if they're looking for some kind of excuse that they're going to buy. They're just looking for you to talk more. They're trying to establish the legitimacy as a stop so they could get over the first hurdle. So then they can start working on the next hurdle, which is getting in your car.
Do you watch? You must. Well, you have Live PD, right? Everybody Live PD.
Yeah.
And go look at our Instagram page and actually everywhere, all of our social media, the stuff we post. I do. I take Live PD, I cut it up, and I do tutorials about what not to do and all that stuff. And in one particular, there's a guy, one of the cops. I think it's Sticks. I think his name is Sticks. I'm not sure, but I got a great shot of him saying, "We are looking for a way to get in your car. We're looking for a reason to pull you over, and then we're looking for a way to get in your car." I mean, he said that, and that's so true. That is what in my opinion, the cops who are not out there policing the traffic, right? Traffic cops, as we would call them, making sure people are driving the right way and not speeding and drive whatever, policing the traffic and looking for traffic violations and pulling over people who are committing traffic violations blatantly versus, the light that illuminates your license plate in the rear is out. So that's why I pulled you out. It's a traffic violation. It's a violation. That's why I pulled you over. How is that protecting anybody? How the fuck do I see a license? Hey, or just be like, honk at me next time, officer. Honk, okay, I'll get it fixed. Thanks.
Mark, do you know anything about this federal case? I know your state law. I don't know anything about this federal case. It says
police are not here to protect anyone. What does Mark say about Warren versus District of Columbia Court of Appeals? So I would have to, I don't know off the top of my head. There's a lot of cases, but I'd be happy to look into that. I can get a note, or will remind me of that later, and I can go look it up and
yeah.
I will respond.
Yeah, and if it's only in the Court of Appeals, I could think it's not that high up there. Yeah, it's if you want to, but what is that? So what do you say about that, Mark? About that Supreme Court case in which they came back and they said the police are not here to protect the United States citizens?
Without knowing anything about the case or reading it or anything, it's just bullshit. I mean, yes, they are. That's protect and serve, and and again, there's lots of great cops. And unfortunately, the ones that exist are why we exist, and teaching people this, and the criminal justice system exists because people get wrongfully convicted and wrongfully accused. And when we talk about cannabis, nobody should be in jail for it.
No, it's a weed. It's a weed. But is this not true, Mark? That was a case that made it to the Supreme Court, federal Supreme Court, in which they said police are not obligated to protect the American citizen. I mean, physically, I don't think about constitutional rights, but that is due to the elements of that specific case, right? That's not overall. It's whatever that specific case dealt with. They're talking about.
Any case that you're reading and that's case law, there are elements that need to be met.
Yeah.
When they're deciphering, laws and regulations and codes and stuff like that. There's tiers, there's level. This has to be met by facts. You analyze the facts against the laws and see what meshes. And what ultimately, law there's no right answer, right?
Yeah.
Because we have the Supreme Court that they have decisions that are 6-5 and dissension and and the majority rules, and that's just we live in a country where we give the cops the right to wear those firearms to come up on us and patrol and police, but we have our rights to shut the freak up.
But even in that Supreme Court case, they're dealing with that specific case. You know what I'm saying? They can only on the elements of that case. That's why in Arkansas, I want to say it was a while ago, they were almost like reverse engineering like an abortion law because they knew it wouldn't go through. So then they knew it would get to the Supreme Court and then it could beat Roe versus Wade. Because do you remember that?
Yep. I remember hearing about that. Absolutely.
Yeah. They knew it wasn't going to stand up. They knew it was going to make it to the Supreme Court, so they were almost making it a very, very strong case for themselves in the Supreme Court. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So those cases, people want to apply them to everything. Oh, police are not responsible for it. No, that's just that case. You cannot apply it overall. The justices were bound by the elements of that case. That's it.
The case can be distinguished against other cases based on those other cases' facts.
Yeah.
The facts are going to change the analysis when you mesh it with the law.
Yeah. There's no cut and dry. Yeah, you guys ain't got any more comments? Mark, give me a rundown of the stuff that you guys are doing besides you gave us the YouTube channel. I'm going to put it all in the description when you anything else you want that you're doing, you want to let the people know about?
Yeah, I don't know. Did I talk about Cannabis Talk 101 already? Our podcast on iHeartRadio, Apple Podcast, or wherever you get your podcasts. New episodes drop Tuesdays and Thursdays. New one came out today.
And you have guests on there?
Oh yeah, we just we interviewed. Today we interviewed Frank the Legend Shamrock, an MMA fighter, legendary MMA fighter. We recorded that today, but we've interviewed Dr. Dina, who is famous for being Snoop Dogg's medical cannabis provider out here in LA, and she's done a lot of things. Actually, if you've ever seen the Showtime series Weeds,
the
real Nancy Botwin, the woman who's based her life on that character loosely, is Dr. Dina. And we interviewed her. We interviewed the CEO of High Times 2 days after she left. And we've interviewed some senators. We interview a lot of people. We were reached out to by a guy running for Senate in Florida. His name's Christopher Cole. And he asked if we would endorse him because he's running on a platform of, cannabis decriminalization and all that stuff. And we invited him on our podcast, interviewed him. And after we interviewed him, gave him our endorsement, which led to, I was on Facebook Live like 2 or 3 days ago. I think Brian McNass or something. I'll have to get the name. You remind me. I got to get it to you. I get a Facebook Live message that says, I'm running for sheriff of so-and-so county in Florida. And when I'm elected, I will no longer enforce any cannabis laws. Will you endorse me? I'm a friend of Christopher Cole, the other guy. So, we got sheriffs and we got people reaching out to us that, I would hope, change across the nation gets effectuated. But we'll see what happens.
Awesome. So in the description, guys, because I know there's 110 people in here now. There's been up to 200 and whatever. In the description, I'm going to put all the links to this. I want you guys to go to Pott Brothers. What's the YouTube channel?
The YouTube channel is Pott Brothers at Law.
Pott Brothers at Law. You'll see it as soon as you put in Pott Brothers. They got a logo. It's with a little marijuana leaf and it's yellow. I click on that because they are lock, stock, and barrel with us. They are not those stuffy old lawyers. They are, and they'll teach you a ton. And they're not going to be strangers. I'm going to stay in contact with them and try and give them as much help because they got 500,000 Instagram followers, 50,000. They're by no means they're on B Real's hotbox and they're getting endorsements for senators. They're by no means little guys. But they're about to blow up on YouTube because I think YouTube is the platform for them. Yeah. YouTube is the platform for them. So, Mark, I want to thank you for coming on Disorderly Product News. My guests my subscribers want to thank you. And what's up?
If you like, I've been doing something again since in quarantine when I've been going live. We've created a slam poem about your rights and the whole script. And it was actually something I wrote about 10 or 15 years ago out of frustration from my clients who weren't shutting the fuck up. And I was just like, you're making my job so hard. And I'm an artist as well, a writer, director, actor. And so I write.
Yeah.
I write stuff. And so I wrote this poem called Am I Being Detained or Am I Free to Go? And that was it. I wrote it to get it out of and I put it on the shelf. And then back in middle of 2015, when we were coming up on social media, one of our clients that we represented holds an event called the Secret Sesh.
Yeah.
And they were they were doing it on Sundays and they were doing it as a cooperative. They came to us for the legal setup to do it right and all that kind of stuff. And they were at our office one day and I had cleaned out my office. I found the poem and I read it to my client and he goes, you got to come and do that on stage. You got to, because they have musical. And so, the High Times events and all those things. I've actually done this at all those events and expos. I've opened up for some musical acts at their concerts doing this slam poem. And so once I started getting live on social media and doing all this stuff, there were some people who were familiar with it. And I started seeing the word slam come up in the comments. And so, okay, I'll do the slam poem. And so when I go live, periodically I'll see it and I go, I can't do it for one or two people if that's all who wants to see it. Yeah. And then I start seeing slam. So I've been doing it. It's fun. And to me, it's so educational because you're like this old Jewish guy. Now I got my quarantine beard. Usually I'm very well groomed, but old Jewish guy coming at you with the slam poem, you're forewarned. I'm going to spit some knowledge if you'll allow me. All right. I take that as a yes.
Oh, I'm on the edge of my seat.
All right. So this is called Am I Being Detained or Am I Free to Go? A slam poem by the Pott Brothers at Law. Am I being detained or am I free to go? This is what to say. My lawyer tells me so. The cops are out there doing a job. Sometimes they must contain a mob, a thankless job that saves many lives. At their home are worried children, husbands, and wives. But does that give them the right to stomp on my rights? So we are here for you, the cannabis community, to fight, to let you know it's okay to just shut the fuck up when cops ask questions. You start with, I'm not discussing my day, end with, I invoke the fifth. These ain't suggestions. These are words to live by, to memorize. See, it's not about the size of that cop's gun, because they want you to run, so they can pull that macho gun and shoot you for fleeing the scene. Some cops are just plain mean. We must shut it off, shut it down, those feelings of anger that instantly come around when that cop has to show his power and his might without cause, without reason, and we know they're not right. We must remain calm, keep the devil sleeping on the left shoulder. We must be cold, even colder. Ice must flow through your veins to shut that heat, the blood that rushed your brain straight from your feet when that cop disrespected you, because you wouldn't tell him what that smell was? And he accuses you of a pot DUI because he absolutely knows that you're buzzed. But see, they can't tell and they don't know, only if you tell them so. Oh, officer, I smoked a joint a few hours ago. Oh, officer, here's my medical rec. Officer, I'm a marijuana patient. We live in America. Prohibition still exists. That cop's going to do whatever he's going to do. 50-50, he arrests you. Give us a chance to represent you with a defense that's blazing. Let us show you in court we're amazing. But we can only do that if you listen to our tips. Now let me see you move your lips. You know the drill. When the cops ask questions, we say, I'm not discussing my day. Am I being detained or am I free to go? I invoke the fifth and then you shut the fuck up. It's all about what you say and what you do. We have given you the script. We are telling you what to say. We are telling you what to do. We put your hands up in protection mode. But should you take a shot to the jaw, we will be here fighting for the cannabis community and all Americans because we are the Pott Brothers at law.
That was awesome, dude. That was awesome. That was awesome. I was reading the comments. Everyone's like, oh, this is awesome. This is great. That was awesome, Mark. And that is why the people just need, it's just a matter of marketing. You got it. You got it. Whatever it is that attracts people, you have it. And I thank you so much for gracing the airwaves with me here on Disorderly Product News. Your brother earlier. Thank you so much, Mark. I'm gonna when we leave here, text me the links. Do you know how the links for your different if you have a way, if you could email me or text me the links, I'll put it all in the description.
Okay.
And me and the Disorderly family, we appreciate it. And everybody that goes over and subscribes to Mark's channel, tell him Disorderly Product News sent you so he knows. Thank you so much, Mark.
My man. Thank you very much. I'm getting my edibles in now.
My man. Thank you, Mark.
Good night.
Have a good night, buddy.
You too.
That was awesome. That was awesome. That was awesome.